Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing the finale for my Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan. This is a project that I have done for 3 years now. Yes, 3 years now. And while historically it has been one of my very favorite projects, I struggled this year. I struggled a lot this year with finding my footing and just in general. So the first year that I did this project, which was created by Alexy and that I discovered through Rebecca Morgan, I decided I was only going to include my limited edition and discontinued palettes. And I had so much fun. I saw a lot of success. So then the following year, I said, you know what? I'm going to open it up to all of my palettes. And again, I had a lot of fun. I experienced a lot of success. This year, I thought, okay, let's go ahead and let's zero in on all of my single eyeshadows. And I struggled. I struggled a lot. I really didn't take a lot of things into consideration. I had been looking through a lot of Instagram and following some really amazing creators who were using a ton of their singles. And I was like, gosh, my singles do not get enough love and attention. That's what I'm gonna do. But I didn't take into consideration the fact that singles tend to be a lot of product, more product typically than your average eyeshadow pan in a palette. Also, they were all relatively untouched. Yes, they had been used, but not a lot. So I found hitting pan very difficult. Also, when I purchase single eyeshadows, I very rarely purchase mattes. I typically only purchase shimmer shades or multi-chromes, duochromes, really interesting, unique shadows. And so I also found myself in a position where I didn't want to try to make myself hit pan on those because they are so unique and interesting within my collection. So I really struggled to find my footing. So around mid-year, I did a full refresh. I decided, you know what? Scrap that. Let's start new and let's go with my palettes. And that was better, but I still didn't find as much success as I have in years prior. So with that being said, let's jump into the finale. So the first palette that we're going to talk about is this one right here. And we're starting with this one for two reasons. First of all, this has the eyeshadow in it that I have been working on the longest at this point, but also I'm working on two shades from this palette. So let's go ahead and talk about what those are. So the shade that has been in the longest is the shade Flow, which is this shade right here. I don't know if you can tell, but I did some work. There we go, that's a good angle. I did some work on this palette since our last update, really trying to focus in. I started using Flow as an inner corner highlight and I found a lot of success with that. But as you can see, I did not hit pan on it. I tried real hard, but I used it 9 times since our last update. I am wearing it today with this halo eye that I put together using all Pan Those Eyeshadows. And I really did enjoy using it, and I'm really glad that I really sort of pushed myself to try to utilize this shade more. I just wish that I had hit pan on it. As on the last update, I did actually roll in a second shade from this palette. I rolled in the shade Graphic, which is this. It's a black matte that is just full of purple micro glitters. Definitely a challenge shadow for me, for sure. I did end up using it 7 times since pulling it into this project, again, including today. Not my favorite. I did find, I mean, black mattes for me are challenging anyway, and I don't generally allow them into projects as a whole, but I knew that there was only going to be a month left before the finale, so I went ahead and rolled with it, and I'm glad that I did because I found myself trying to utilize it in ways that I wouldn't ordinarily, and for that reason it was good. But it's not the most pigmented black because you've got all of those micro glitters that get in the way, and micro glitters, they look beautiful in swatches, they look beautiful in pan, they don't work well in application. They fall off all over the place. So certainly no pan there. Knew that there wasn't going to be, especially with it being a Tarte shadow. Tarte shadows are very deep. So 7 uses, and I'm comfortable with that. The next shade that I have been working on is from I always hold it upside down. I'm not used to the spine being on the bottom. Is from BH Cosmetics. It comes from my Do Not Disturb palette, and the shade that I have been working on is this shade right here called Peace Out. And I, again, have a big crater of a dip. I tried so hard to hit pan. I tried so hard to hit pan, and it just did not happen for me. I feel like this is one that I'm gonna hit pan like right after, right after. But it's been really fun playing with that palette. I think that their Say Anything collection that they launched this year was really, really good. And I'm, again, grateful that I pulled it in. I did use that shade an additional 7 times since our last update to get it to the position where it's at now. I was also working on a shade for my original It's My RaeRae palette, also from BH Cosmetics. I got a lot of BH actually right now. This was so much fun to pull back out. This has been in the project a few times already. The shade that I was working on was this shade called Friday. And I was able to hit pan on it. Oh my goodness, that feels so good to actually have pan. In this palette, again, I've actually got 3 pans all because of this project, and I'm really, really happy that I got there. This is such a fun palette, and I really do love it. I've said in the past that I'm pretty sure that this is the palette that sparked my love affair with BH Cosmetics, and that's great. I was also working on the shade Fairytale from my Lorac Mega Pro 4. I used it 4 times since our last update. This is what the shadow looks like. Again, this is a common theme. You're seeing a lot of really good dips, but sadly no pan. It's a fun color. It's a very fun color. It is kind of a taupey, silvery lilac shade. Very pretty, very cool toned and nice. And I had fun playing with it. The last shade that I was working on is also from BH Cosmetics. This is from their Naughty palette. This is from last year's Christmas collection from them, which honestly, probably an unpopular opinion, but I prefer this to what they released this year. So the shade that I pulled in was this shade right here called Candy Cane. Yeah, it doesn't even look used. I did, like I said, I did use it 4 times since pulling it into this project. What I found, I am wearing it today, but you can't tell either. I found that even though it is this just really beautiful deep red in the palette, when applied, it turns a very berry sort of shade, and I used it in exactly the same way that I used Friday. Sorry, I bumped my tripod. That I used Friday. The 2 of them could be really used pretty interchangeably. So once I finally hit pan on Friday, I started using Candy Cane, and I created, again, the exact same looks. And it was fine. So, okay, let's talk about where we're leaving off. I am pre-filming, as I've mentioned in a couple of other videos. I'm pre-filming, so it's entirely possible that if I was waiting to film this until when I would normally film it, I could have had pan, I'm pretty sure, in Peace Out as well as in Fairytale. No, maybe not Fairytale, sorry, in Flow. So I could have possibly, I don't want to, you know, toot my own horn, but I could have had 2 more pans. So where does that leave us? So for the year, did I even save my notes from the first attempt? I don't think I even saved my notes from my first part of this project because it went so poorly for me. But since the refresh, I have hit pan in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyeshadows. I am not going to take away from that at all. That is very exciting for me because I don't organically hit pan all that often, especially not in eyeshadows. So for that reason, I am feeling okay about this project, but certainly not my finest work. I'm thinking I'm probably going to bring this back again next year. I'm still not sure exactly what that would look like because I really do love this project. I just don't feel like I set myself up for success this year. So we're gonna focus on the 7 wins that I had and leave it at that. Is this a project that you worked on? And if so, how did it go for you? Hopefully it went much better than mine went. As always, everything that I am working on as well as everything that I am wearing will be linked in the description box below. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you will consider doing so. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.